Men are turned on by a woman's vulnerability and openness. The reason why is because vulnerability is the ultimate receptivity. It allows a man from his masculine energy to feel received by you, which means you are accepting him as a man, you are accepting his gifts that he has to give and provide for you as the hero, and also you are showing him that you trust and respect and admire and appreciate him. So you're sending so many positive signals to a man when you are open and vulnerable, sharing your heart, letting him know your needs, your desires, letting him know about your fears, your frustrations, but doing so in a way that is respectful, using feminine communication, because that creates that dance of polarity, the masculine feminine poles, which creates attraction. It creates interest, chemistry, passion. It's a sexual polarity that is formed when a woman is open and receptive to a man in that way, even if it feels scary, even if it feels like that stretch beyond the comfort zone, but allows a man to feel excited to be able to provide for her, that she actually wants to show him that vulnerable side of her, that heart, and allow him in. So that is one of the reasons why men are extremely attracted to vulnerability in women. So hi, I'm Brody Boyd, and for over 20 years combined with my wife, Antia, we've been helping thousands of successful women all over the world to get a loving, long-term, and committed relationship with a man they desire. So let's go ahead and dive in with the next reason why men are extremely attracted to vulnerability in women, which is that vulnerability separates the men from the boys. When you're authentically open and vulnerable with a man, what happens is you get to see what kind of man he is. How does he handle that vulnerability? Does he shut down? Does he get anxious? Does he get excited? Does he get turned on? Does he step into his healthy leader? Does he want to help you? Does he want to provide? And ultimately, does he want to show care for your heart? That is the ultimate test of a man. When you're using what we teach you with magnetic feminine polarity, magnetic feminine communication, when you are actually raw, real, and open, sharing your feelings, sharing what's going on for you and who you are, your authentic self, you get to see what kind of man you're dealing with. And typically you're looking for two options. There's really only two options to determine if a man is a good fit for you potentially or not in the very early stages, or also in a long-term relationship, which is, does he show care for your heart or does he not show care for your heart? Like when you share your feelings and you're letting him know about what's going on within you by using I feel statements and using magnetic feminine communication, etc., you get to see how he responds to that. What does he do after that moment? Now, sometimes a man may not be used to your vulnerability. So it may actually take some time, which is why we recommend our Magnetic Feminine 90-day challenge, where you're applying these principles in our container for 90 days and all the other techniques that we'll give you. You get to see how he responds to that and give him time to actually adjust to you being in your feminine energy. Because ultimately, vulnerability is feminine energy. Your heart, your emotions, your core self, because every woman has a feminine core at her center. Every man has a masculine core at his center deep inside. When he gets to feel that most authentic, most vulnerable, most precious part inside of you, you get to see how he responds to that. If he's showing care for that, if he wants to be your hero, if he wants to help, if he wants to provide and protect and give to you, or if he's uncomfortable with it. But sometimes it does take some time because he won't know at first exactly how to step into his masculine. You're stepping more into your feminine. You're going to call him into his healthy masculine, but it sometimes may take a little bit of time for him to adjust. But given that time, you see how he starts to respond to that feminine energy. And if he's showing care for your heart, if he's wanting to learn more, if he's wanting to know more, if he's wanting to engage, to listen, to empathize, to want to help you and make you feel better, make you feel happier, because if a man has any level of masculinity, any level of care for you, he is going to want to make you happy. That's how he's going to get his sense of validation. If he does, then that's a good thing. If he doesn't, that's a bad thing. If over time he's not showing care for your heart and he doesn't care about your vulnerability, he's not treating your heart well, he's not wanting to help, he's getting uncomfortable with it because he's either in his feminine energy or he is a broken man, because there are a percentage of men, about 5 to 15%, roughly, I would say, who are deeply broken. They're narcissists, they're sociopaths, they're deeply avoidant attachment styles, they have deep wounds that haven't been healed and may never be healed in some cases. And he's not going to like that. He's not going to want to be the hero, because those types of men are typically looking for a mommy, or they're looking for somebody to just take care of them, or they are not capable of really being in a relationship, of showing care for a woman, of having that consistent hero instinct activation to want to protect and provide. So it's going to show you pretty quickly, which is why I recommend being vulnerable as soon as you can with a man in the right way, which will feel scary. And of course, if a man isn't showing care for your heart, you may need to set a boundary with yourself and get out of that situation and walk away. But it'll allow you to start seeing what type of man you're dealing with, which is a great bonus and a great principle and purpose of vulnerability, because then you don't have to waste your time with men who are actually boys or who are not capable of showing that care for your heart, and you can move on and start opening up your heart to the right men who will take care of it. Now, the fifth reason why men are extremely attracted to women who are vulnerable is because vulnerability is a sign of high self-worth in a woman. Here's the thing: a woman who has low self-worth, she's not going to be vulnerable, because she's going to feel that her heart isn't worthy, that it's actually dangerous to show her heart to people, because they're going to find out who she really is, and they're going to find out she's a low-value woman, and they're going to reject her, and they're going to shut her out or not want to help or even hurt her when she is vulnerable, when she shows her heart. Now, a high-value woman, on the other hand, which it does take courage, it's a big piece of vulnerability, is to have the courage to step out of your comfort zone and to be vulnerable and to go first, even if you feel that you could get hurt or that a man may not deserve that vulnerability yet. Oftentimes, if you go first and expose that vulnerability, that's what can allow the relationship to shift, where he starts to show care for your heart. As long as he isn't a man who has shown that he is dangerous emotionally, physically, in other ways, then I wouldn't recommend that. So you have to use your intuition and your judgment, but I would recommend going sooner rather than later and taking that step and leaping into that unknown to show him your heart and your femininity, so that he can actually have the chance to step into his healthy masculine and show care for your heart and be the hero. So what I'm saying with this is, a high value woman has that courage to actually show her heart because she believes her heart is a beautiful thing. She believes that she is worthy of having somebody want to know her heart, want to feel her heart, and want to protect her heart, and want to help her, and want to provide, and want to be the hero, because she believes she's worthy of that. So you're showing a lot of signals of confidence and of high value when you are able to be vulnerable with a man, use what we teach you and what we'll help you with to actually allow him to feel that heart and to want to care for it. Because if you keep it hidden, and if you keep the protective guards up, like the shield of armor that's over you, or a mask that you might be wearing to protect yourself and letting men being who you think they want you to be, or putting on a mask to protect and not actually showing them what's really going on within you, and you're trying to step on eggshells or manage things or, manipulate him in some way, play games, etc., then he's not going to be able to actually feel that heart, and he's going to feel that you're actually not a valuable woman. Somewhere in his core, unconsciously, he's going to feel that you're low value because you're not being authentic, because you're not being vulnerable and able to actually ask for help and let him lead, let him give, let him help you with things, let him feel your heart, let him understand what's going on for you, the good things and the bad things, whether it's sharing positive feelings such as that you love being around him, that you're grateful, or whether it's negative quote unquote feelings like you're feeling sadness or fear or anxiety, etc. If you're holding all that back, which is your feminine energy with your emotions, you're saying, I don't believe I'm worthy to have a man take care of me. And that's going to be a signal that will repel high value men and will attract low value men, or men who won't treat you well. And so that's a big positive benefit of being vulnerable in the right way with the right men. So now, before we get into our next point, if you haven't yet and you really want to master these principles, I highly recommend taking our free Magnetize Your Man quiz to get a loving, long-term, and committed relationship with a man you desire fast, and getting customization and getting the specific coaching that you need to implement these principles in your specific situation. And you can get that by clicking the link in below this video, or going to magnetizeyourman.com, which is our website. Highly recommend getting that free gift. All right, the fourth principle of why men are extremely attracted to vulnerable women is because vulnerability signals trust and respect as a devotional offering. So when you're being vulnerable, you're showing him that you deeply trust him and you respect him as a man, that you see him as a man who's capable of being a hero, who's capable of showing love and devotion to you. And it's like your gift to him. So being in the feminine, you really don't have to give anything to a man. A high value feminine woman does not have to take care of a man, protect him, provide for him, be his therapist, be his helper, be his mommy. Like, you don't have to do any of those things. The more you do those things, you're actually communicating that you are low value and that you are in your masculine energy. You're trying to give and provide and protect him, and which is all masculine, which is going to push masculine men away, and it's going to, at the very best, attract feminine women who are feminine men who are looking for a mommy. They're acting like feminine women, but feminine men who are looking for a mommy or looking for someone to take care of them. And it's not going to be good for either of you long term, because he's ultimately not going to be stepping into his masculine core long term, and you're not going to be stepping into your feminine core. So you're both going to end up with a part of yourself shut off. It's going to be like you're living as like a planet without the core. If a planet doesn't have its core, it's eventually going to implode. It's gonna lose its gravity, or it might be like a computer without its processor and without its core elements that are inside. You're going to lose that, and it's not going to be functionable. It's not going to be workable long term. So you want to connect to that core. You want to start living from that core and attracting a man who's also living in his high value masculine energy, which you will through the law of polarity. And now you can have a healthy polarized dynamic, a healthy polarized relationship, just like a dance, just like a salsa dance or a tango or a West Coast swing, which is my personal favorite dance. That's going to happen when you can signal to a man that you trust him and that you respect him, and you give him that gift, the only gift you need to provide, of your feminine energy, of your vulnerability and your receptivity and openness towards him. The third reason why vulnerability attracts masculine men is because vulnerability evokes masculine depth and breaks his distraction patterns. So if you've ever been with a man and you see him scrolling on his phone when you're together, or he's playing video games when you're at home, or tuning out and watching basketball and on his headphones or something like that, he's distracted. He's trying to check out. He's trying to get some form of release. And he's looking to those other sources for that sense of release, that sense of distraction. Now, when you're a feminine woman, when you're embodying your feminine energy as a queen, you become his distraction. There's an old saying, when a man falls in love with a woman, she becomes his weakness. Well, it's also true when a man falls in love with a woman, she becomes his distraction. She becomes his release. She becomes his heaven on earth. You bring heaven back down to earth with your feminine energy, with him being exposed to what that feels like to lose himself in a feminine energy, in a feminine woman, where he can now provide, he can give, he can penetrate energetically with listening to you, with wanting to make you happy, with wanting to give you pleasure, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, sexually. He can give to you, he can make you happy. And when the only way he can do that is if you're open to receive him in that way. You're vulnerable, and you're expanding that polarity, you're expanding that energy and exciting him on a primal level through your feminine openness and feminine vulnerability, through sharing your heart, through sharing your emotions, but doing it in the right way that is respectful, using magnetic feminine communication that we'll teach you, and we'll give you scripts for as well, exactly what to say and what to do in your situation, because it always is best to have it customized for you and what you're doing with your man. And every woman has a different background in their situation with a man. But the basic principles apply, which is your vulnerability and openness will activate and evoke his masculine depth and make him not want to check out. It'll make him want to be present with you, want to focus his energy on you, desire you, and even obsess over you, because you become his source now. You become that magnet to him, that polarized magnet energy that he can't help but be focused on. It's like, oh, the football game's on. Oh, focus on my woman. Oh, there's a man running down the street and he is breaking people's windows. Oh, but my woman's here. My woman's focusing me in. So he's going to be constantly drawn back to that feminine energy because of who you're being. Now, of course, men will need time occasionally to go out into their bear cave and meditate and process their emotions, process feelings, and empty out, which may be outside of the relationship with you, because I'm not teaching you to have a codependent relationship. But in general, he's going to continue to be drawn back into you, and he'll communicate. If he's in his healthy masculine, he'll communicate clearly and guide you and lead when he needs space and when he needs to take a break, but he'll come back afterwards and be even more loving, be even more caring and devotional, because he's also taking care of himself as a man. So it's very important. The second reason why men are extremely attracted to women who are vulnerable, which is vulnerability activates a man's hero instinct to provide and protect, which we talked about already a bit. Now, what happens is when you are vulnerable, you're showing a man that you need him. You're showing a man that you're open to his help, that you have things, that you aren't perfect, that you're perfectly imperfect, and you have issues, you have problems, you have needs, you have desires, and maybe urgent things or maybe chronic things that you've been dealing with that you're frustrated with in yourself or in your life or in your relationship with him. And you're calling in your knight in shining armor. Your vulnerability is like a signal saying, here I am, I'm open, I'm available, and I need help. I would love to have a man in my life. David Data calls it the feminine yearning. It's this yearning that you have within your heart to say, I want to be claimed. I want a masculine man to come into my life, to claim me and help me and provide and be my hero. Just like that song from Bonnie Tyler, I need a hero. I recommend watching that on YouTube after you're done with this or at some point, because it's a great meditation and something we go deeper into in our courses and our coaching. But this idea that you're a feminine being that is calling in your hero, your knight in shining armor, to help you. Some may call it the damsel in distress, but you don't necessarily have to be in distress to be the damsel, or better, to be the queen that is calling in her king, that's saying, I would love to have a king in my life. It's not that, in our modern times, there's a lot of information out there, some might call it propaganda, to tell women that they should be a boss babe and they should be a strong, independent woman, and that you should need no man. I don't need no man. I could provide for myself. I'm good the way I am. I'm happy in my own life. I'll just hang out with my girlfriends and go to the club, or just hang out with my cats and read books and drink wine, etc. There's this, that's become a funny meme, but the idea is, yes, you can do all these things for yourself. Yes, you can provide for yourself, and you probably do financially and in other ways, which is great. And you probably feel a deep yearning within your core, if you're honest with yourself, of how great it would be to have a man in your life who can help you with those things, who can provide for you in different ways, whether that's spending time together, going on adventures together, listening to you, talking with you, connecting intellectually, emotionally, cuddling on the couch, watching shows, fixing things for you, killing the spider that's crawling onto your leg, or the burglar that's trying to enter your house, or helping manage finances and the house and the life and the family and the kids, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, or especially to have kids together and have a family, which is a beautiful mission that we're called on from God, to be fruitful and multiply. So that's a big piece of it as well. So there's so many things that I'm sure, if you're honest to yourself, that you would love to have in your life with a man, and to be open to that feminine yearning and to be able to share that with a man in the right way, mostly through sharing your feelings and sharing your heart. That's the vulnerability. That's the ability to also share your problems and also share your desires, using the right communication to do that, that you inspire men to then want to be devotional and want to be the hero and want to give you all those things and all those desires of your heart, because that's where he gets his sense of purpose. See, we're perfectly designed in that sense, the masculine and the feminine, and men and women coming together in this beautiful tango dance, ballroom dance of energies, where he can lead and he can guide and make decisions and protect and provide, and you can be open and vulnerable and receptive and share your appreciation and your feelings with him, your feminine energy, and they come together in this beautiful dance. That's the way we're designed. And when you actually embrace that, you can have a very happy, healthy, amazing relationship with a man, where you get to just relax in a lot of ways and just let him take that lead, and you feel good, and you feel that you can trust him, and he wants to show that you can trust him, and he wants to earn your respect and more, and your appreciation and your admiration, because that's how he feels whole as a man. That's how he feels like his life has meaning and his life has purpose, and he can be a hero to somebody. Maybe he can't be a hero to the world. He can't be the president of the United States or the CEO of this massive corporations or leader of millions of people, but he can be a hero to you, and he can serve you. He can serve your family and grow it and protect it. And that'll feel really great to him in his masculine core, just like you have that feminine yearning inside of yourself. Now, the number one reason why men are extremely attracted to vulnerability in women is because vulnerability creates a space for him to pursue you as well. So if you're so busy being the strong, independent woman, or wearing the masculine armor, the masculine shields, putting on a mask, or providing for yourself, and not having anything that a man can help you with, that he can give to you in small ways or in big ways, then there's not really a space for him to pursue you as well. Because you might actually be in your masculine. A lot of women are in their masculine energy where they're not being vulnerable, and instead they're trying to lead their man. They're trying to tell him what to do, or they're trying to manipulate him. So they're telling him what to do directly, or they're trying to manipulate him indirectly to get what they want, which is masculine energy. Masculine energy is about doing and achieving outcomes. Feminine energy is about openness and detachment from outcomes. And so as long as you're trying to control him, as long as you're trying to guide him or get him to give you his phone number or ask you out or propose to you or commit to you or etc., whenever you're trying to get him to do something, it's actually going to push him away because he's not able to actually lead himself. He's not able to choose on his own to change or to do those things or to pursue you. See, a man has to be motivated from within. You can never motivate a man externally in a relationship. The more you try to motivate a man externally, you're just going to push him more into his feminine, or you're going to make him angry and upset and have him shut down, lose his masculine motivation, his masculine self-esteem, or he'll pull away from the relationship and leave. So you can't externally motivate a man. All you can do is internally motivate him. How do you internally motivate a man? Through your feminine energy, through your feminine core, through being vulnerable, through sharing your heart, through using the powerful principles that will teach you a masculine, feminine polarity and feminine communication that will draw him out into himself to want to be your hero, because he now empathizes, because he can feel you. He can feel received by you. He can feel trusted by you. He can feel respected by you. And then he naturally within himself wants to be more of that hero because it starts to feel really good to him. And yes, again, it may take time, and you may need to do our Magnetize Your Man 90-day challenge and Magnetic Feminine 90-day challenge to get him to really draw out fully and totally transform your relationship with him. But once he does, he's going to feel really great, and he's going to want to be that hero for you more and more, and he's going to pursue you. He's going to chase you. He's going to desire you. He'll be even potentially obsessed with you, to where he's going to do the energy. He's going to do the work. He's going to make things happen. He's going to reach out to you. He's going to initiate because he wants to help you, and he understands that that's something that you like, and that's something that you want, without him feeling like you're demanding that of him or telling him what to do. Like, you need to text me more often, or you need to stop acting like that, or trying to use, tricks to get him to do what you want, and manipulation and playing games or playing hard to get, etc., rather than being vulnerable and honest and authentic and open with him in the right way that is highly respectful, that draws him in now and makes him want to do it on his own, to be that hero and devote to you. So as long as you're doing the masculine energy, you can't call a man into his masculine. As long as you're in your masculine, you're going to push a man away, or you're going to push him into his feminine. The only way you can call a man into his healthy masculine energy and to chase and pursue you is you have to be in your feminine. You have to call him in. You have to draw him in through that openness. And it will be scary. Like I said, it will feel vulnerable, because by definition, vulnerability is uncomfortable. If it was comfortable to be vulnerable, you probably would have already done it. You probably would already be in an amazing, healthy, happy, polarized relationship. And you would probably have people wanting to do things for you. But you may have been hurt before. You may have had things that happened where you don't trust men. You don't trust your man potentially. And it will be scary. And it will feel like you could get rejected, or he may not care for your heart. But that's where what we're going to help you with is detaching from the outcome in the feminine practice and overcoming the old fears and rewiring some of your old beliefs, and so that you'll start to attract in healthy masculine men. Because when you're in your healthy, high-value feminine energy, you will attract healthy, high-value feminine energy from your man, or men in general, where you'll attract a different level of experience, where they're not going to want to do anything that would cause you to feel sad or hurt or anxious or in pain. He's going to want to protect your heart, because it's going to feel like this golden prize, this gift that you're giving him of this openness that he would never want to lose. And of course, if a man doesn't respond well to that vulnerability, because it does separate the boys from the men, you may need to step away, and you may need to walk away either temporarily or long term. But that's where the 90-day challenge will give you that glimpse to see what kind of a man he really is, and allow the relationship to actually shift into a healthy dynamic where now he's devoting himself to you and completely turned around. Even a man who potentially has broken up with you, or who hates you, or you guys just have a lot of bad blood and bad things that have happened, you can turn that all around with these principles and with the right communication and openness and vulnerability to have the relationship of your dreams and live happily ever after. Just like in Cinderella, I just watched it last night with my daughter, and it is possible, but it's a journey, and it does take that same heroine's journey of overcoming challenges, overcoming fears to get to that place, but it's totally possible for you, as we've seen over and over with our clients. So much love. Hope this was helpful and insightful for you today and you took good notes. Leave your comments or questions below. Love to hear it. And I will talk to you again very soon. Bye-bye.